We're live. We're doing it. It's
Hey.
happening. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. I see some people are in the chat. Let me pop them up. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done this. There's Noir Wolf. Thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Marcelo's here. What's up? This is my dad, Larry. I am Kristen,
Hey,
the
hey.
Comic Slayer, reviving this dead channel finally with my dad. You can see he's got a lot of great books behind him. I got to point this way.
Yeah, I did it.
I
I
love
did.
that your Essex County is like right over your shoulder.
It's
So I
kind of
can be
cool,
like,
right? Yeah.
I made you read that.
There's a lot of Kristen books back here,
That's right.
and almost all my autographs were sourced from Kristen. I mean, she
You
didn't
know,
write them, but she went and got them.
I forged the autographs.
Would that be something like the Andy Griffith episode with the baseball? No, no.
Yeah, I'm not
Actually,
as
that was. Go ahead.
I don't. There's some of those autographs like I think Steranko has one of the best
Oh yeah,
floofy, like lovely cartoonist autograph. I
just
could
like
not
him.
replicate
His
that.
autograph is floofy like he is in his hair. And
He's certainly a character, that's for sure.
yeah,
He has some wild opinions too, but that's another story. But yeah, he was interesting to me. Pretty much every con I've ever been to, I will ask my dad because my dad doesn't go to a lot of cons.
yeah.
I'll be like, "Hey, is there any one of these cons you need autographs from?" And then you will hook me up with stuff and
Every time.
describe the people. And you like usually you'll put post-it notes, and I'll have all these floppies or whatever. And I'll carry them around to all these like older artists and stuff that I don't know.
Yeah. Potentially getting creeped on. So
Yeah, there were some
see,
weird
see
ones.
if Steranko has a daughter, I don't know if he does, but if he does, and they had a YouTube channel, uh, he could not appear with her because he would say the wrong thing, right?
Yeah, it would be weird. I'm glad he doesn't.
She'd have to have the mute button ready all the time.
Hello, Chris. Thank you for being here. We got Noir Wolf reviving the dead channel. Does that make this a Resurrection Sunday? Hey, yes, it
Apparently,
does.
we had to do this because people think Jess is your dad. I don't.
Apparently, multiple people, even Omar's wife Melanie, thought I was his daughter, which is
That's
extra
funny.
funny to me. James is here. Thank you for being here, James. Wow, you did it. I know. We didn't know if it would happen, but it's happening.
My buddy Jeff, he's almost sort of offended when I showed him like a link to you and Jess's show because he's like, I know you want to have a YouTube channel. That should be you on there with your daughter, not some random old guy on the internet.
Hey, that's rude.
I know, right? I mean, he's trying to encourage me, but he
Yeah.
does it in his caustic way.
Well, you finally did it, and that
Yeah.
brings me to the point of really doing all this. Is my dad finally started his channel? He's been saying for a long time he's going to start a YouTube channel. He's got every bit of real comic knowledge. I feel like I have real the historical stuff is certainly from you. So people right now, I made a little banner. Go subscribe to
Yeah.
Larry's Library.
Yeah, I'm
The link.
just followed in your coattails. I got almost all my subs from you. Maybe two were not you, and they were
Yeah,
probably just me. No, so
you have some real life friends that probably don't subscribe to me. So
a couple. But
there's that.
see, that's what makes it hard for me to get any organically. Is almost I don't think anyone I work with has the slightest interest in comic books. Just no.
Mm, yeah. Well, and I certainly know I started a new job last week, and I'm like, I've yet to meet a person. So I think that's
You,
unfortunately normal.
you think some people are just closeted, or
Well, if they are, I'm certainly going to keep telling them I like comics. So we'll see if they come out. But yeah,
yeah,
there's your little banner. Go subscribe to Larry's Library. The link is in the description. So if y'all want to go see my dad, he just put up a room tour. It's a really cool room he's in. You built all those shelves behind you, right? Like
yeah.
kind of
Well,
right
I
into
had
the
help, but
wall.
yeah, yeah.
Well, but you still hand did it, right? I can't say I went to IKEA. I didn't build these shelves. Most people don't, but yours are really nice. There's a lot of cool stuff in that
Well,
room.
I did design them, so if my bracing isn't enough and they sag one day, I'll have only myself to blame. But
That's all right.
I don't think they will, though. They're really reinforced.
Yeah, you could probably sit on those and be okay.
Yeah.
Um, we are Venomni Dog is here. Heyo, thank you for being here. Jessica's here. Jessica's lovely. Never clicked a video faster. Thanks for being here. Hayden, glad Hayden showed up. Name a more iconic comeback.
See, you
YouTube history.
you got your entire tribe here.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Hey, Noir Wolf Larry, I watched your room tour last night. Very
Yeah, I got
impressive
his
room and
sub notice.
collection. That's awesome. Awesome. You made a bunch of shelves and boxes yourself. Yeah, those what you have the floppies in is part of my favorite, I think, in that room because I mean, floppy boxes are so constricting and they're all like
Yeah, and you can't
in a
see anything.
dungeon and yeah,
Yeah.
you just put them away. Like mine are in my closet, like they're
See,
not out.
I'm trying to soften to the terms that you and a lot of other people use, the floppy thing.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
It's sort of I know it's sort of borderline offensive, but I get it. I understand, but
It's just the term. I mean,
I
they
know,
are
I know.
floppy. That's true. The
But they're not
shelves
the
do look
worst format.
robust.
The worst format, I still contend, is the trade paperback with glued binding. It's not going to last as long as a floppy is if you take care of the floppy.
They're just like, but okay, so here's a trade near me, God
Uh-huh.
Shaper. It's still, I just want to see the spine. I'd much rather see a spine than have like
Yeah,
a box of floppies, even the way you've done it, right? You've done
right.
it in a better way, but you just want to read the spine
Yeah,
and,
I totally get it, but I would say, well, that's why we need a hardcover.
well, but some books are so like this is a smaller book, Boom put this out. They don't put out a ton of
But see,
hardcovers.
you told me that this would never have a hardcover.
I did not say never. I said
Well,
it's
that's the impression I got. But
well, I said it's unlikely, which it is, but
yeah.
they called its enemy. It's won a lot of awards. Like it's really
Mhm.
popular. It's got more acclaim outside of the comic world than I think
I'm going to do a
a
video
lot
on
of
it,
books
and I'm going to push it as an important work. Not just a
because it is
yeah,
absolutely. I
totally.
feel like that needs to be in schools. That's one
Yep.
book that I was like,
Well,
it
in
needs a
this
part of a
expanded edition,
curriculum.
he has some material about a program for it to be in schools. He
Oh,
shows
that
some
rules.
pictures of. Yep. So apparently it is somewhere, maybe not here or where you're at, but
It'll probably get banned eventually. It's fine. All the good ones
yeah,
do, right?
yep. And now we got the opposite of that. We got some parents group coming after Disney Plus because they announced they're going to bring the Netflix superheroes over.
Yeah, which is just silly. It's like,
Yeah,
how about just don't show your kid Daredevil if you really don't want him to see it
yeah.
then? Click something else. I don't know.
Jessica Jones is not for your 9-year-old.
No, it's really not. It's really not. Thank you for being here, PS viewer. Hi, Slayer and Dad.
Hey,
Um, but yeah. So I wanted to start this thing off. Actually, this was Reed's idea because
yeah,
we were like, what do we talk about? How do we talk about it? And Reed was like, I want to know your comic origins. And I'm not even sure I know yours. Maybe sometime throughout the years you've told me, but it's been a
yeah.
bit. So I am interested. How did you get into comics?
Well, I have three memories, and I'm not really sure which is right. I could tell you all three, but I
Because you were
think
so young, right?
right. I
Yeah.
think the oldest one, probably the earliest, is this fishing trip. And yeah, I don't fish. Not an outdoor guy
Not a
here.
fisher. Hmm.
The day star burns. But anyway, it we were at some lake, some fishing lake, and I really didn't have any interest in fishing. I mean, not that I don't
Still
like being
though.
with my dad, but I don't care about fishing. I really don't. I don't even eat much fish. I mean, I guess I could eat a fish, but I don't care about fishing. But anyway, so we walked down to the bait shop together, and there was a comic rack in the bait shop, and I got it was one of the later issues of Commandy, the Last Boy on Earth, DC. Weird that the big Marvel guy, the first book was DC, but um, and it and almost every Kirby started series I got into, I always got to it after Kirby was gone. And then, then I would like it because of the concepts and go back and get the original stuff that Kirby did, and I like that even more. But yeah, it was the issue. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately, but it was the issue by the covers by Joe Kubert, and uh, he's in like a tank and he's doing this. He's like a human in a fish tank. Yeah. So there was that one, and that was like a 35-cent cover book, I think. So it must have been late 70s. And then the other early memory is where I was staying with my Aunt Dee, and I must have been about 8 or 9, and she took me to this junk shop. I don't know what else to call it. It's almost like a flea market, but it had its own. It was in a building, and they did like radio repair and TV repair, but they also sold random junk. So they had like old paperbacks, and they had one box of comics. It was like 10 cents a piece, and I got some a Werewolf by Night and a Marvel Spotlight, which had Moon Knight in it. So that's worth a small fortune now. And I ended up selling my copies to get them buy more omnibuses, but I had that, and yeah, so that was my first real taste of Marvel, was probably that, and that was it. That there was nothing else I wanted more than that. Then was Marvel, you know.
Was it one of those things where, like, after that, I think you said you would get them in like grocery stores and stuff, right? Like that's
Oh
back
yeah,
when you
yeah,
could find
yeah.
comics anywhere.
Convenience stores,
Hmm.
gas stations, convenience stores. Everybody had a spinner rack. But I mean, I was born in '68, so I was probably about 10 during this time, and they were already starting to dwindle. They were kind of on their way out, and it.
Did
But
you
I
have
was there through part of that. But
you had a dedicated like comic shop near you though, right?
yeah, we had one comic shop in town, the Book Broker, and Book Broker's been up and down. I mean, it's still around Evansville, Indiana. Probably people know about it from further away than that, but they've had their ups and downs, and they're not the same place they were then, because a lot of those guys are dead and gone. That were. But as I got older and started collecting seriously, I had a tab there that I would run. I literally had a tab, and he would let a lot of us have tabs so we could get the weekly books and other things, and just write it in the tab. And of course, we
Did it have a
all,
limit?
if there was, they never told us what it was, but
Okay.
we ended up being almost like indentured servants to the Book Broker,
Mm.
because a lot of me and a lot of my buddies would end up working there sometimes on the weekends, filing books, which we loved, and to work off our tab to get it down to a reasonable level. So, like,
So that's
we
how you
might,
worked it off. Okay.
yeah, yeah, we might give them $5 or $10 on our tab sometimes to keep it down. But they literally had a little file. They'd pull out the file and write, okay, they put it on my tab. Put it on my tab. Was a
Did you
thing.
ever like pay off your tab in full? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I did before I finally quit going there. I think I paid it off.
Yeah. Well, that's good for you.
I'm
I'm sure
sure
a
there
lot of
was
people
some
didn't.
some kids that didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't pay it off.
Good for you. Oh yeah, Hayden makes a good point. If that upsets them, they should see what's on Disney Plus in the UK. Disney Plus in the UK, from what I gather, has like Hulu kind of stuff. Like they just have
Oh
a lot
wow,
of different stuff. Yeah, it's not just like Disney. Is that right, Hayden?
more R-rated stuff.
Yeah, just various things. Noir Wolf is totally stealing the Daystar Burns
That,
for
that
their own
that's
use.
an old one, but Narwhal's probably not old, so I'm
What's
not
that
sure where.
from? It's from something,
I was
right?
going to ask you if you knew what that was
I
from.
don't remember. I just remember you saying it a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
someone's probably googling it now, and they'll tell us.
right. Well, I think my origin, you could probably correct me on some of this. I'm sure I had comics before this incident happened. But my biggest memory of getting like into comics was, well, it's really your re-entry into comics, right?
Yeah.
So when I was like 11, my appendix ruptured. I was in the hospital for like a month. And by then, I mean, I don't know, when did you sell all your comics? You had at that moment, right?
Uh, yeah, I mean, there may have been a few around, but I got rid of most of my collection. I think shortly after high school.
Okay. And
Um,
that was, I think I remember you saying you went to like the parking lot of somewhere, right? And you had them in your trunk and sold them to somebody, kind of like a weird drug deal, but it was comics.
I don't remember. I mean, some of them I sold to like the Book Broker and a couple other places, but then I think I had a lot left, like a long box left, and yeah, I sold it to some stranger, and it was just ridiculous how little I let it go for, and I it
It
was
bums you
awful.
out still, right?
It does, but I mean, I've since cut down my singles. I'm gonna call them singles. My single collection, to a considerable amount, but I didn't get rid of anything that I didn't replace with an omnibus with that content in it. So it doesn't rip my soul out like that did.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
We don't want soul ripping here.
No, no one wants that.
Yeah, Hayden says, yeah, plus a lot of the more adult Fox stuff on Disney Plus in the UK. It's
Hmm.
interesting. Uh,
Well,
Norrell says 1971 here. I remember spinner racks being everywhere when I was a kid.
yeah, yeah. I wish I had snagged one, because I know it as those were going
Yeah.
out, they had to be dirt cheap, maybe free. They're probably sitting at the backs of some of these stores, and to think how difficult it is now to get one, it just sucks.
Well, and even like, I think you and I both looked at it like there was that Kickstarter
Yeah, and
that
that
was
guy's still
around.
selling them, but man, he wants a
They're
lot for it.
expensive, yeah.
Yeah, he wants like $100 for shipping. I,
Plus
I
the however much it is on top of that, yeah.
I'll probably have to do it eventually, but I can't figure out where to put it because this room, I mean, it's awesome. I love it, but there's really nowhere in here to put the spinner rack if I had one.
Well, they're not, like, great for space in general, right? Because you
No,
have to
they're
have,
really
like,
not.
room around the whole thing really to
It's really more nostalgia, I think, than decent for a collection. I mean, if you think about it,
Sure.
it's not really good for a collection, other than
True.
it looks great. But
Right, right. PS Viewer, I wish I could go pick up meds and comics at the same time. The book selection is pretty small. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Even, like, the book section of, like, grocery stores, which is still kind of around, but
yeah,
so
sort
much
of.
smaller than it used to be, because I remember loving to go to, like, that section as a kid.
Well, see, when I got back into comics, which would have been the late '90s, early 2000, right, somewhere in there. Um,
Yeah.
there was still some comics. There weren't any spinner racks, but they would have them mixed in with magazine-size magazines,
Right.
and they'd be like stuck behind it and in it, and it was
Mhm.
just a. You could tell it was going away. You could just feel that any second that'd be the end of it.
Well, I remember even, like, at Barnes& and Noble and places like that for a long time, probably longer than most other places, they had some, like, Archie stuff mixed in and,
Yep.
things like that, but that's not even around anymore to my knowledge. What's up, Jazz? Hello, everyone. But yeah, your re-entry, so, like, you got back into comics because I was in the hospital, and you were
Yep.
like, "I need something to read."
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happened.
And you
And
picked
I
up an X-Men book, right?
yeah, I got the trade of um, Days of Future Past
Mm.
collection of that, and it was the old-fashioned early trades that really sucked. You
Yeah, they
know,
were bad.
yeah, they didn't flop like you just demonstrated.
Right.
You had to literally bend it down and sort of
Mm,
crease it to
that's
even hold it
bad.
open. I mean, you'd have to use both hands, really. I mean, early trades were terrible. I
Yeah.
don't. It's a miracle it even caught on. I think it was so bad.
Well, I'm sure the glue got better, the binding got better,
Yeah,
There are some
definitely.
trades that'll last longer. Maybe you still have that old image of trades. Like, I understand they're not gonna last forever, but, like, they'll last my
Yeah,
lifetime probably.
yeah, that's what it is. That's part of it because some of the trades you've made me take by gifting them to me,
Yeah.
I admit they don't feel like they're cracking and falling apart. So that's
Yeah.
what when you open a book and you hear that crack, the
Oh, yeah.
glue crinkling and cracking. If it's a hardcover with a sewn binding, it doesn't bother you as much because that fabric is still going to hold it. Yeah,
Right. Well, hopefully.
yeah, that's the idea. Although I did have that one hardcover that fell apart on me, literally. You remember that? It,
Yeah.
it was a
What
Dark Horse, wasn't it? It was a Dark Horse collection of some old pulp books.
Yeah,
Not
wasn't
EC, but
it,
it was something similar to the EC collections.
yeah, didn't your 100 Bullets do something like that too? Like one of those trades?
My 100 Bullets trades, about 3 out of the, what was it, 12 or 14
Mhm.
volumes. When you open it, you could hear it cracking, but nothing fell out. But
Well,
you
that's
could
good.
tell if you did that enough times, it was going to be in pieces.
Yeah, that's no good. Yeah, I think about, like, the bigger and the thicker these trades have gotten, I feel like the technology has gotten better too. Like, this is my new frontier that I recently had.
And that's a see
And
when
I
you
mean,
held it up on
look at that.
Jess's book, I thought it was a hardcover, but it's not, is it?
No. No, it's just a big old floppy. It's nice.
It's nice, but you know what still concerns me is if you took that in a hot car or a cold
Well,
car.
I would never.
Well, right, but and I
I
wouldn't
I
even with
would
my hardcovers.
I was gonna
I would,
say, you shouldn't
yeah,
leave any book to the elements really,
you
because
really
that's not
shouldn't.
a yeah, even the
Although
hardcover.
you could get away with that with a floppy though. A Mylar bag and a board. It's not going to care if you put it in the heat. Not going to care.
I would still never.
Well, yeah, I probably wouldn't either, just because I'm insane about that. But it literally it'd be fine as long as it wasn't in direct sun. It would be fine.
We hope. Nora Wolf, I recall comic stores in the late 80s, but not sure if there were that many before
Well,
that. Wondering if the LCSs largely started after the spinner racks went away.
well, I think that's where they really built up steam and got widespread. But the book broker in Evansville, Indiana, they were a pioneer. I mean, they were early on. In fact, no one cares about this obscure store in
I was
this
gonna
little
say you
town.
keep plugging it, and it's like
I
people
know.
are
I
gonna
know. Well,
people
I
are
have a
gonna
lot
go
of
there.
history.
It's
I
actually
have a
not worth going at this
It's
point, but
totally not. I just have history there and I can't help it. But I remember originally all they sold was used paperbacks and vinyl records. That was it, and maybe magazines. And I told the owner, I said, "You guys should start selling comic books." And they were like, "And you should rent videos too," because VHS was just coming on, And
Hmm.
they were like, "Come on," you know.
And then
They
they
laughed.
took
They
your
laughed
idea.
at me. They laughed at me. Yeah.
They took
Well,
your
I mean, they
idea.
did have comics, but they certainly didn't have any movies or anything like that.
Hmm.
Anyway, enough about them. They don't deserve our plugging at
No,
this
they don't.
point.
Jazz, I had a brand new Godzilla trade paperback have pages fall out right once I was done reading it. Kind of sad. Yeah, that's a bummer.
That's awful, especially with that good content.
Yeah, the only thing I remember doing that recently was one of my Buffy books. I don't even think it's around. I maybe moved it. Oh, I think you've probably seen me do this in a show, but I just opened this up. So I've read this material. It's the Boom Buffy, the first
Mhm.
hardcover, and immediately it was like cracking. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a real big crack. I know people are like,
Yeah.
you can glue it, you can glue it. I'm scared, but
Well,
the pages are definitely gonna fall out of this thing. Like it's bad.
I re-glued one of my Punisher Omnis. It cracked all to hell and just started coming apart and I got some binding glue and glued it. I haven't checked on it in a long time. I'm kind of afraid to pull it
Scared.
out and see how good my job was. But
Well, you should pull it out and check because if it's good, I'll just bring this book to you because I don't
all
have
right,
any glue anyway.
okay, I probably still have some, but I don't know if it. Like I said, I'm afraid to look because it's hard to get the right amount and then you get too much. So now it may be glued permanently shut for all I know. I haven't pulled it out in a long
Hopefully not.
time. Right.
I don't think you did that bad of a job, right?
Yeah, hopefully not.
Um, but yeah. Anyway, you were in the hospital reading comics. Do you remember giving me any comics at that time to like read?
Yeah, I think the early stuff we gave you was like some of the Disney. I guess they were reprints.
Hmm.
Well, before that even. How old were you then? You think?
In the hospital?
Mm,
Yeah, that was like I was 11 or so.
okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to remember when you got into Buffy. Probably wasn't too much after that.
Yeah, yeah, probably a few years after that
Hmm.
because I got you into Buffy. I remember that.
Right, right. You did because it that's a funny story because I was very familiar with Buffy because I seen the original movie years before the TV series was even hinted at, and I loved it. I know now I love the TV show much more now. Obviously, it's way better, but I really liked that movie, and you were like, no.
Well, you kept saying because I was like, I'm gonna watch the show because I think I caught a rerun or something, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the DVDs and I'm gonna go back through it. And you were like, and I was like, you could watch it with me, and you were like, you have to watch the movie first. You have to watch the movie first. You
Yeah.
were very adamant on that, and I'm like,
Yes. Yes.
okay, but it's not the same characters, it's not the same people. And we did watch the movie, and I remember liking it at the time, but I was like, this is nothing compared to this show. Like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
show
The,
is
the
so
show
much
just
better.
was way better.
Yeah,
But I still feel
forever.
like you should start with the movie because then you're going to appreciate the show more. So,
Yeah, you're gonna be like, wow, I can't believe this show came from this movie.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Marcelo just subscribed to Larry's Library.
All right.
Thank you for that, Marcelo.
Yeah. Thanks.
Very cool. But yeah, so I read some comics in the hospital. What I remember the most, though, is when I got into Buffy. I was
Mhm.
very adamant. I was like, I have to get all of the Buffy comics. And this was like back in way early Dark Horse when the
Yeah.
show was still on.
Yeah.
For
And the art wasn't great. I
no, it
mean,
was bad. It was
for the
so
most
bad.
part, it was bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Had some
like
nice covers here and there, but
that's true. Every now and then, which is funny because like I was collecting the floppies at the time,
yeah.
and I wanted all the photo covers, and now I cringe at that. I'm like, why did I want all these photo covers, right? But that's
Yeah.
all I wanted at the time.
Yeah. Dan Green did some of the early covers that were pretty good. He never did interiors, but he,
Yeah, yep. So they weren't great stories, but I loved them.
yeah.
And I remember back then, so I was a teenager. We were Wednesday Warriors, right? We were going every
Yeah.
Wednesday. I think the only thing I really pulled that I can remember is Emo Boy, though. That
Yeah.
weird little comic Emo Boy that I loved,
Yeah.
that I never hear anyone talk about.
And you still have it. You still have them, right?
Yeah,
I think I gave them
yeah.
back to you. Yeah.
Which is, it's funny though. I looked it up and I was like, did this ever have an ending? And I'm missing the last, like, I think it's the last issue or the last two. It's something like that. So I don't know how that happened because there weren't that many.
We should look into that.
Yeah, we should look into that. But yeah, I got into
They should
that.
do a new collection, and Reed could do the cover. Ooh, and you could write the forward. I got you all fixed up. See there? They should
Just
collect
roll
it,
in and be like, she hasn't written anything. Let's just make her write the forward. Nobody's gonna
right?
care.
And this
Some
guy's
people
going
in the
to do the
chat.
cover. You just
Yeah,
put it out. Deluxe oversized
let him
hardcover.
know. This weird obscure book that clearly not a lot of people read. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Duck Collector, cool shirt,
Oh,
Larry.
thank you. See, I don't actually wear this much because I'm kind of allergic to bright colors on my person, and but
there you go. Well, it looks good.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's what I remember the most, and I think what was it? Probably like a few years later, I got more into like independent stuff, and I got really into Essex County. That was like my first thing that I was like, you have to read this. And at the time, like your allergicness to bright colors on your person, you were allergic to black and white comics.
I was, and I still don't prefer that. I still much prefer color, but you kind of made me read that, and it was just gut-wrenchingly awesome. I don't know.
Yeah, I made you read that. I made
Really
you read
awesome.
Blankets by Craig
Yep.
Ferguson.
I think
Craig Thompson.
that would be something if he wrote a graphic
Be.
novel. He should write one about how he became what's the word? Dual citizen.
Oh,
dual citizenship. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that could be another important book.
He could do a comic version of, because he kind of wrote a book about that, so he could just do a comic
that's true.
version.
He did.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, that went astray. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, black and white.
Yeah, Blankets.
Yeah. I think I like Blankets at least as much as I liked Essex County.
Yeah. So then maybe you started trusting my taste outside of your own thoughts.
Yeah.
So now I just like
a whole lot of that back there is Kristen.
Yeah, I throw books at you now. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I'm like, you should read this, and you're like, no, I won't. And then I'm like, no, but you should. And you're like, I have too much to read before I die. And I'm like, that's morbid. See, you gotta read it.
I've done the math, and I know that I have a finite amount of things I can read. I know it's a terrible thing to think about, but
it is terrible. It's fine. I've gotten around it. What happens is if I just gift you a book, you're way more likely to actually read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I end up doing. But I mean, it's good. Like you said, you just held up They Called Us Enemy. That's black and white. It was only a trade paperback for a long time. You never would have bought that.
Now, I think it still would benefit from being in color. I'd like to see it remastered.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not.
But if it is, you'll just buy it again.
Absolutely. And that's I'm going to mention that in the video I do of it, that, you know what, this is the second version. If they put out a third one that was more of a standard size or even oversized and they colored it, I'd buy it again. I'll just buy the same book. I'm doing that with my Tolkien stuff. I keep buying it. They keep putting it out. I keep buying it again.
You are their target demographic for these things. They're like, this guy will buy it. Well, let's put it out.
Yeah, it's nuts. And see, that's another thing. Like you and Jess, and I guess most halfway sane people will let stuff go. But if I read a book and I love it and I have it in a good format, it's got to stay in there. I'm not getting rid of it. I mean, and I have no intention of rereading most of these. I know it's irrational as hell, but I have to have them. I have to keep them.
I mean, that's a true like collector / hoarding mentality.
Yeah, it's not healthy, I guess, but
I mean, you have been that guy who's went on eBay for out of print omnis that will probably get reprinted at some point. I know that.
I've paid more than cover for, I think, 2 omnis.
Oh, just 2? Okay, I thought it was maybe just more. 2. That's not bad.
Most of the time I get it for less than cover, or I'm just not doing it, But I think one of my Avengers, I paid like $165 for.
It could be worse.
Felt really bad about that, but might have been number 1 or number 2. I don't know which one.
We just won't mention the Tomb of Dracula price. We'll just keep that.
Keep
that to what people can probably imagine it was.
Number 2, that was the one.
Yeah.
That just would not. I tried to bargain with people. I begged, and I had to pay too much for that. Way too much.
Yeah, and it's It'll get reprinted one day, I bet. And then you're gonna be like, oh man.
Yeah.
Will you feel that? Will you feel like bothered if that happens, or will you be like, okay, cool, it's out for people,
If
like
enough
whatever?
time passes, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, if it happened just right after,
Oh
I
yeah,
would beat
that
myself
would be a
up bad.
bummer.
But yeah,
That would be
I
a
think
bummer.
aren't they reprinting Man Thing, or they already did, and I paid a little bit for that one too.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
James is saying 95% of all manga are black and white. Yeah, my dad doesn't read manga, so it's fine.
I mean, the only manga I've read is really the ones you've kind of made me read, and I liked them. The what's
Yeah,
his
there's
name? I don't know if I can
the
pronounce his name.
Junji Ito book. Yeah, I give you
Yeah,
one of those.
that what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I think I have two now.
Did I get you two of those?
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
One's a little hardcover. Yeah,
he's so fascinating and weird that
yeah, deeply weird. Some
yeah.
to where there's no point in it, but I still am fascinated by it. So
Yeah, it's one of those even like
yeah,
the short, because the short stories, I feel like sometimes I'm even reading them and I'm like, okay, this wrapped up way too fast, or like I want something else to this, but it's still good and interesting, right? There's still something
yeah.
about it where you're like, okay,
I mean, if you
that
just
was
like the bizarre, it
right.
sometimes, like I said, pointless, completely pointless, and
But sometimes he really reminds me of like Twilight Zone
yeah,
episodes,
yeah, like a gross Twilight Zone. I don't
Yeah.
think there were any Twilight Zones that were gross, but if they were, that would be it. No.
Yep, makes total sense.
Mhm.
Jazz is saying Tomb of Dracula is so awesome.
Yeah, I actually had every issue in singles, and then I sold most of that to pay for the Omnis. Um, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I made a mistake, but it's okay. I still have all the content, so
Yeah. Well, and you gotta get rid of something, right?
yeah.
When you have two formats, it's kind of hard to justify that, right?
I mean, I am doing that with Defenders. I have every
Yeah.
issue of the Defenders, and now I'm getting the Omnis just because I have to.
I mean, I
So
did get those
yeah,
like paperback Buffy Omnis of all those singles that I have. So I've done that.
I
And
think
they're reissuing them now, and I'm getting those. So what am I doing? I don't know.
I think you had a season 8 at trade, and you gave them to me, and then I ended up selling them on eBay. So when I
Yep.
got yeah
Yeah, but you only have one of those libraries, unfortunately, right?
yeah
Like
yeah,
they're just so expensive.
but I kept all my singles, so I still have all the
Yeah, that's the
singles.
way to go. If
Yeah.
everybody, if anyone ever wants to read those Buffy seasons, you have to get the singles, and it sucks because it's like obviously you want the libraries, but at this point, Boom has not reprinted them, so we'll see if that
You
happens.
ever notice something about the Buffy season 8 artwork, especially the cover art? Trying to think of the artist's name.
Was that Genty? Was that George's Genty?
Is it Jinty, Jaunty, something like that? Yeah, yeah.
Think.
I really like it, but you ever notice he violates one of the old school Marvel Comics rules, and he does it all the time. The head is too large for the body.
Hmm.
It doesn't bother me. I just think it's interesting because if you've ever looked at or seen someone, maybe you've seen it, Stan Lee's book, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. He co-wrote it with John Buscema, and it shows panels and shows how proper anatomy shows a character is like 6 heads high, maybe something like that. I may have that wrong. Some artist in the chat could tell me if I'm right, but they would do Marvels as um, less heads high, or no, see, I got it backwards. Yeah, they were like 2 more, so the body was larger in proportion to the head, and it made it look more heroic. And that was like a rule. They would teach new artists to do it that way. And Jaunty's is the opposite. So it makes all the characters look kind of young. It gives them a younger look than, I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but
Yeah, and those covers are really nice.
yeah, they're good.
I like them.
Reed probably knows about that head rule. Maybe he might be able to tell you.
Yeah, I texted him and asked if he was watching, and he did not reply to me. So I don't know. I don't know if he is. But yeah, one other thing I think we wanted to talk about, just because we think it's fun, is when I was a kid, we were both reading comics for a little bit, but we were also both playing Quake 3 Arena.
Oh yeah.
But we do all, maybe another show. I'll bring up those pictures you sent me, but we have some screen caps of like some of the maps and stuff. And Quake 3 Arena was a first-person shooter, right?
I still have my CD, the
Which is
CD-ROM.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't use it for anything. It just sits on my shelf and looks pretty. But
Back in CD-ROM days,
yeah,
there were big guns and you blew up people's heads and stuff, right? Like it
the
was
the
like,
BFG and the rocket launcher, and
yep, yep. And we would both get online on different computers. I was like, what, 10, 11 at this time? I was
that's what
pretty
I'm
young.
thinking. Too young for all the gore, but we did it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
absolutely too young. But but we would go online and go into like free for all maps
Yeah,
and team up, which I, as a child, thought that was very funny and very fun.
yeah, because it's completely against the rules, and but no one knew. I was Mr. Baggins, and you were
Mm,
Frag Girl,
that's right.
and we would just go in these free for alls, and we'd come right up to each other and shoot the other person, and then
Yeah,
not shoot, and then, it was hilarious. I thought.
man, I do miss that game so much. We would play it
Yeah,
all the time, all the time. I think to
yeah,
the point where like eventually Quake 4 came out and it wasn't the same, right?
yeah. I mean, I still played it, but I don't think we played it together too much. I think by then you
Yeah.
were probably starting to not spend so much time with your dad at that point.
Oh, I'm
You were
sorry.
probably kind of aged out, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
think. I think that's how it was.
well, that's a bummer, but I do remember that game fondly. I think
Yeah.
didn't we find recently like you could still play like the computer mode like in a
Yeah.
website or
Yeah, you
something
can literally play it in a web browser. That's how far
for
we've
like
come.
free? Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, we played with it a little bit the other day, and the servers are pretty bare, but
Hmm,
they're someone's running them though. They're still up.
that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go back to that link.
Yeah.
Did you send me that? You'll have to send me that
Okay.
for sure. Um, oh, okay. Chris knows what we're talking about. I really like Quake
Yeah.
3, but I usually just play the computer because I don't like playing
Well,
online.
I think when I wasn't teaming up illegally with Kristen, I would play the same way because I'm
Mhm.
not twitchy. Even when I was young, I can't do those quick maneuvers, and so these young people are hopping around like bunnies all over these maps. They would just destroy me. But with us together, we had kind of a shot. We had a
Yeah,
chance of surviving a little bit.
absolutely. Not an MMORPG game, but Duke Nukem 3. Yeah, you remember Duke Nukem, right?
I think I still have my CD of that too.
Yeah,
But
you definitely played that. I think that was too mature for me. I don't think I played that, but
yeah, he would say a lot of. He would say
I think
some
I
questionable
recall.
stuff. Yeah.
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 Yeah, but yeah, Quake 3 was more like just a shooter game anyway. It wasn't like an RPG or
Right.
anything.
Sort
But
of first person sci-fi shooter, maybe I would
yeah,
call it.
and that's really the only game I've ever really actively played online. Like I'm not an online gamer
Yeah,
either.
we definitely need to show those pictures sometime because you would pick out really colorful, sort of like skater girl looking outfits, if I remember right.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, like my I remember I had the hover shoes.
You're right. Yeah,
That was the one I liked, and I think the girl had like hair that like stuck straight up and
yeah,
had different outfits. Yeah, it was very fun. But
yeah. I guess that was very '90s. Some of that, wasn't it? Sort of,
um,
maybe.
probably late. So late
Yeah,
90s, something around there. I
but I
think.
think you might have had big shoulder pads and whatnot.
Yeah,
Seems like
Marcella CD. What is that? I know, right? Like
right.
nobody does that anymore.
No.
Um, well, the last thing we wanted to talk about, I asked you to put together 5 books that you plan to read next. Now, the thing about my dad is, I don't know if anybody in the chat can relate to this because I can't, but you are very much like your reading order, you know what you're reading when, you're going to read this one next and this one next and this one next. And I don't think you really veer from that, right? Like you really have a
Uh,
set thing.
very seldom. I mean, like I think I explained it in the room tour video, but like if a volume one of something has been sitting there in my to read, and then the volume two comes out before I read it, well, then the volume two will get right there beside it. So it kind of cuts in the
Oh, okay.
first in, first out order.
Hmm.
Um, or if it's something that I've already read and I'm just sort of just going over it, I read it in a different format, then I'll take care of it like now because it usually takes me like a month to read an Omni. I mean, it depends, sometimes less, but
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
So I want to know what you're currently reading then,
Okay, so
because
that would
you
be
always got something going.
this, which I think you gifted this to me, right?
I
Or
did.
did
Yeah.
I buy it from you? I don't know.
No, I think I gave that one to you.
Yeah, this is the.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
one that I had sitting there.
Nicolini? Is that how you say it? You think?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm blazing through this. I've only been on this for like a week. Look at that.
Oh,
But
that's
it
pretty good. Pretty good
it
dent.
One thing that's odd about this is it's late '70s, so this is actually my era of Iron Man. This is, with the Bob Layton inking, and he did the pencils on a lot of it. Fabulous, but the writing is not really. It's not near as old school as most stuff from this time because I couldn't normally read it that fast. So if someone's thinking about getting into older Iron Man, but they're afraid, this one you could do. I think I think this one holds up okay. I mean, you could certainly see it's late '70s by looking at like the big wide-legged pants and some of the other clothing they're wearing. But other than that, I think it holds up as a modern-ish Iron Man.
So you're liking it?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I mean, I'd already read a lot of that when I was a little kid, but I'm reading it straight through now because I didn't collect Iron Man when I was young. I do now, but well, in that format.
So another question. I feel like a lot of us do this, but I don't think you do this either. I will always have typically multiple things going,
Well,
but I don't think you do that.
I
You do
sort
that?
of do that with. I'm always reading something prose at the same time.
Hmm.
So like I'm reading and rereading Lord of the Rings now at the same time. But I usually only do that at work because I'll pack a book like that in the car, even though, I mean, it's even though the heat is still not great for a hardcover, it's
Holds
not
up
too
better
bad. Yeah,
than a comic for sure. Doesn't
yeah,
have all that ink. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. How far are you in the Lord of the Rings right now?
I'm still on book two. It's a
Okay.
slow burn. I'm only reading a few pages a day,
I've
so
heard
it's
that.
taking a while. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've heard the hardest thing about some of the Lord of the Rings is like the songs that you have to read.
yeah. I mean, I kind of like it though. Hold on one second. See if I can-
You can mute yourself.
How you do that? Probably
There's
right
a
here.
little
I
microphone.
can't.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Oh, he did it.
Okay, I think I can talk now. Yeah, I don't mind them so much, and it might be because uh, before I read Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, I saw the Rankin and Bass animated movies, and the poems were all done as songs in that, and the music was fabulous, and so it just makes me, it just reminds me of that, you know.
Yeah,
So I
that's
just
cool.
sort of have that sound in the back of my head when I'm reading it.
I think he showed me those when I was a kid, right?
Yeah,
I feel like I
yeah, they're
remember those.
fantastic. Yeah.
I gotta say hi to Brooke. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Kristen and Kristen's dad. Brooke is my
Mm,
cat Twitter friend. She has
awesome.
awesome cats. Let's
Yeah,
see,
I
Chris.
don't like cats, but
We'll go into that. Chris, I have found the reading the older stuff easier reading digitally than in an Omni because I can read panel to panel. That makes sense to me. It's less daunting, right? You don't have to like see the next text. I know this makes sense to you, but it makes sense to me because you know
yeah,
read digitally.
I think I get it.
Yeah,
But yeah, that David Michelinie Iron Man though, it doesn't feel as old to me, but I'm probably not the best person to judge that. um,
oh, the cat thing. Okay. Brooks doesn't like cats. So what's fun about my dad is forever, for all the years I've ever known him, which is my life, he has said he hates cats. Hates cats, right? Not
wow,
even
did I
just
say
dislikes
hate?
cats. I think he said hate. Yeah, I think he said
Okay.
hate.
Yeah, because one of them hurt me before when I was young.
Yeah, when he was a kid, I think he got hurt a little by a cat and has held a grudge ever since.
Yeah,
Very long grudge. And when we adopted Buffy and Willow, I was like, I think you're gonna like these cats. I think you're gonna like cats now. And you were just like not having it, not having it. And then you came and you met them. And I remember, I think the first day that you met them, you were on the floor. Buffy was climbing all over you. You were
yeah.
letting her, you were playing with her, you were petting her, calling her beautiful.
Um, See, we should have had pics ready for this because she gets right up on my shoulder
That's
and
true.
lays on my head, and it's crazy. And
Yeah.
I bring up bug videos on my phone for her, and she likes
Yeah.
those. And
Yeah. You don't like cats? I'm subscribed. If we are mentioning Willow, Willow loves you too, but
yeah,
Willow is definitely more
reserved.
reserved with her love sometimes with strangers. Although you're not a stranger, but
Yeah,
Buffy's very much like she's the classic cat. I think Jackson Galaxy calls them mojito cats,
mm,
which is like someone walks in the door and they're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Would you like a drink? Well, how are you? I'm Buffy. What's up? Like, let me be your best friend." That's Buffy. But yeah, Willow loves you too. Willow will like she's laid on you before and she's fell asleep and
yeah,
drooled on
she
you.
has.
Yeah. So now you love
Yeah.
cats.
I guess I do somehow.
You love these two cats at least. That's for sure.
Well, we have two barn cats now, but I
Oh
haven't
yeah,
really dealt with them. Your mom
that's
does
true.
that, but yeah,
That's true. Secrets revealed. That's right. The cat secrets. Who wouldn't love Buffy and Willow, right? They are
right.
the best. They are the best. So every time Willow goes to the vet with my mom, like my mom has to take her, you will stay home. You'll stay at my house and watch Buffy and hang out with Buffy. So she's not alone, which is very cute.
And she usually won't get off me the whole time.
It's, she needs
She's
you to
on
keep
me. Yeah,
loving her. She'll purr and purr and purr and purr.
yeah, yeah. It's those real deep throated,
Hmm.
like a little motor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's a little motor. So we love that. Now that we're talking about cats, I'm going to promo my own thing, which also link in the description. You can check out Reed's web store where you can get a pack of cat stickers of Buffy and Willow that Reed created. All proceeds for this go to the vet. I just mentioned my mom taking her. She's going to have to go like every week for a while because her stomatitis is so bad right now. So that sucks. We are packing these stickers tonight, by the way. So if you did order, thank you so much. They are going to go out soon, and that's fun. So
yeah.
check
You
out the
you
stickers.
you made me like black and white comics, kinda, and you made
Um,
me love your cats. So
you know, just creating miracles over here, right? Just making it happen.
yep.
So you showed a book you're going to read next. I grabbed some books that
Well,
I
wait,
really
wait. What are
liked.
you reading now?
Well, I'm not.
Oh,
I
okay.
know it is unusual, but I just haven't been able to focus lately. I just started the new job. I think I'm just, it's been hard for me to focus, so I'm not reading anything. I should read something. Maybe out of all of these, you can tell me which I should actually read next.
Okay.
Because I grabbed some that I think you'll be interested in and you can give me your thoughts on and maybe even how I'm going to like it or not like it. So I'm hoping to
Okay.
read these. I'm just going to say within the year because personally, I'm very much a mood reader, unlike you. So I have to be in the right mood. But I also have all these other shows I have to like review certain books
That's
and read
true.
certain things,
You have
which,
read work.
yeah, I have homework reading. That's what I call it. So it makes it harder for me to just grab something. But I think one of the first things I'm going to mention is I recently read Lemire's Moon Knight. Did you watch that? Maddie and I talked about
Uh,
this morning.
no, it's in my list. I haven't watched it yet.
Well, pretty much the summary of that is we were both confused. So we liked it and we understood certain aspects of Moon Knight from it. Obviously, he has DID, like there's multiple personalities. We get it. But we were ultimately kind of confused and feel like we needed some groundwork for the character before we jumped into
Mhm.
that. Which leads me to I do have the first Moon Knight omnibus.
It's one of the greatest works of all time.
I know you love it, and that's really why I got it because I was like,
Yeah,
I remember throughout all the years you loving and loving, loving Moon Knight. So I was like, I need this. Look, I haven't even opened it. It's just sitting there, like it's still
yeah,
shiny.
yeah. You got to read
So
it. You
now
should
I'm
read it.
like, I think I have to because it did make me interested in the character, and of course, I'm going to watch the show when it
Yeah,
comes
you want
out.
to talk about important stuff? There's some important stuff in there too. There's one of the early issues in there. It deals with child abuse and stuff, and in a really powerful way. Some groundbreaking stuff there.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to read that
Yep.
eventually. What do you got coming up?
Well, after that, I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to reread the whole thing or just kind of read the extras. But I'm gonna look through this. Might read it again, and I'm gonna do a little review of that. Um,
So that is the what are they calling that? The expanded
uh,
edition?
Expanded edition hardcover. Yeah.
They
If I
call
had
it
the other one
Trinity.
next to it, it's same image, but it's darker. It's
Hmm.
like they recolored the cover, and I like this
Yeah,
better.
I
Yeah.
like it better too. That is a first second book, I believe.
Yeah. Oh
Which
no,
I
it's top shelf. Top shelf.
oh, it's Top Shelf. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Top Shelf, who's great. Which I gifted you that trade paperback, and I was like, you have to read this. You have to read this. It's George
Yeah.
Takei. It's about his life when he was a child, right, in the
Yeah.
internment camps, and very powerful.
Yeah. I mean, and I remember hearing about that probably in school, but it was. I don't want to say it was a footnote, but it wasn't like a
It was a
huge.
footnote.
They didn't make it a
Yeah,
huge thing. And man, it's just to really understand the brutality and the awfulness. It's shameful. That's what it is.
yeah. Well, and it is shameful that, because you mentioned it, yeah, it's like I remember bits of it from school too, but it's
Mhm.
bits. You said you don't want to say a footnote, but I mean, I think that's true. It's like, some history we are taught about American history is just brushed aside if we seem awful because we were, right? Like
Yeah.
that was a real awful time that we have to
I
embrace
think
as
I
they
think a
existed.
handful of people were awful, but then the masses just were like, "Okay." They're
Well,
like,
which makes it
"Okay."
awful, right? If
Right, I mean,
they're
they
like,
just kinda
whatever, that's what I
shrugged and went
hear.
on with their life, and meanwhile, these people are losing their homes and their businesses, a lot of them own,
Their lives,
all their
really. Yeah.
properties, their families split up in some case. Yeah.
I mean, just the kind of conditions they had to endure during that. It's all terrible. So, it
Yep,
is a rough read. I think it's a really important read, and,
yep. Yeah, I'm gonna do a video on it. It's,
yeah, so check that out.
everybody who has a comic channel should do a video on it, I mean, just
Make sure people read it for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's a cool read. What I have coming up, I think I definitely want to get to this year too. Jess loved this, and I think you haven't read it, or you've read only some of it. I know you didn't get the Omni, right? And that is the New Mutants Omni.
I didn't get the Omni. I kinda regret. I've read the first few issues, and I think it's just one of those things where there's so much X-Men that I just
Mm,
I was like, I had to make a decision. I can't have all of them.
right. Which I get because I don't collect it all either.
Mhm,
But what appeals to me about this is like I like a lot of the younger mutant
mhm.
stories.
Yep.
I've always been into that. Like I like the Young Avengers. I like, other I always like the young teams. I think they're fun. So, but and Jess loved it. Jess thinks I'm gonna love it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I should have got it. I probably should have got it, but
Is
it's
it
one of
still
the things
around?
where maybe it is,
I think
but
it's
it's one
still
of
in
the things
print.
where I sort of drew a line and I'm like, okay, I can't get everything.
Sure.
But
There's gotta be a line.
I have the single still of the first issue. You had Bob Wychick autograph it for me.
Hmm.
The yeah, the penciler or the inker. He's
Oh,
an
I think I
inker,
remember
but
that.
he might have
Yeah.
done the pencils here too. I can't remember now, but yep,
Cool. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna go through like 5 of these, right? So you got some more
right,
there.
yep. So when I finish that Iron Man, then I'm gonna do this big monster. This is oh, can we get it? Yeah. This
These
is
are
the IDW.
Are those bigger than an absolute?
I think they are. I got this in there backwards. Can you believe it?
You gotta fix
It's
it.
got a nice slipcase. But
Oh,
yeah.
so Marcellus's New Mutants was just reprinted, still available.
Oh,
So
that's right.
hey,
I probably will get that. But yeah, this thing is just beautiful, and it's an
ooh, it's
IDW Artist
shiny.
Select. Yeah, and it double dips a lot of the stuff from the Michelini Omni, but then there's a few that are in here that aren't part of that. But yeah, but it's in this humongous. I think it's just slightly bigger than an absolute,
Can you show
and
me the
it's
red spine?
the red spine.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah, or the other way.
This
Yeah.
way.
Okay. Okay.
There
Yeah.
we
I'm
go.
just trying to get a scope of the size. Okay. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
got a ribbon.
it's
That's
got a ribbon,
nice.
and it's autographed. They're all. If I can. Yeah, they're all signed. Every one of these. Did that work? I can't see the
Mm,
camera, so
yeah, I can see it at the bottom. Yeah. Are
okay.
those numbered?
Yeah, they're signed and numbered. This
Cool.
is 999 copies, and this is 129.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's a good number.
yeah.
Yeah.
And these were on sale. I think you pointed me to the sale.
Yeah. Yeah. They had those on
Um,
sale for a while, I think. They
yeah,
may still be. So check
like
out
last Christmas or the Christmas before.
I feel like it was only a year or so ago. So
Yeah,
I don't know. They may be gone, but IDW Limited, right, or something like that. That's what it was.
yeah. Artist Select, IDW Artist Select,
Yeah.
and it's I think Cheap Graphic Novel still has them. They
Okay.
have
Check
some of
that
them.
out.
There's more than one. There's a John Byrne Fantastic Four one. I have that. Wow. It's hard to do anything on camera, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll just put that away later.
Yeah, that's what I usually do, and then I don't, and they pile up. And I'm like, I gotta put all this away. So another thing that I don't know if you I can't remember us talking about this, but I've had this sitting around. I know I'm gonna like it. Again, still in the shrink wrap. I think I got it for really, yeah, it's cheap because I got a remainder mark on the bottom. But that's Hulk Planet Hulk.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I should have got it and double dipped, because
Yeah,
I have all the singles.
yeah, it's a
And
nice like size too. I appreciate the smaller omnis because I'm like, well,
yeah,
I know I can get through that. You know?
I think 800 pages is enough. I do.
Yeah,
I think that would, if they ask me, that's where I would cut them all. Even if it had to be more omnis, I would still.
yeah, yeah. Some of them are just like you're gonna hurt your foot, right? If you drop that
Yeah,
thing, you'll
and it's
break
more
your
pressure on the
toes.
binding too. It's just you're
Yeah.
asking for disaster by cramming more and more in one binding, I think.
I like the chunky ones how they look. I'm like, that
Yeah,
looks nice. Like they're
yeah,
so big and it's cool looking, but yeah, some of them, I'm looking at like the Stern Spidey, right? I always think I'm just like, man, it's so. I know there are bigger ones, but this one always pops out on my shelf because like I
yeah.
love how big it
That's
looks,
that looks like about 1,200 pages.
but it's a lot. Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
say that. Let's see.
I'm getting pretty good
Um,
at guessing them. 13.
yeah, well, about 1280 something. It looks like. So yeah, you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Man, it's
800
rough.
pages is the right amount for an Omni.
Yeah, and that one sat on my shelf, and I'm just like, I don't want to get it out. It's so big, and that's one reason why I'm like, I'm not reading that yet.
Yeah,
So that's fun. But
yeah. And then after that, I don't know if I'm going to reread the whole thing or just look through it. But this is some of my favorite material ever. Is the Jim Starlin Warlock stuff. I mean, look at that art. Huh?
is that a deluxe?
This is a gallery edition.
Oh, it's big. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not quite as tall as the last book, but it's close. And I've got several in this format, and they're really nice. I mean, it's huge art, and the binding is really good. Um, but yeah, this is some of the early stuff I remember thinking that art is incredible. You know what I mean? And he must have been on like I'm thinking. I mean, this was the time too. I'm thinking he was LSD totally. I mean, he was on some hard drugs to come up with some of the stuff that he did in here. It's really far out. I mean, but you haven't read any Jim Starlin, have you?
I still haven't. I was just gonna say like, I guess I just need to start with that. I do have that Silver Surfer Omni.
Is that Starlin?
Is
Or you
it?
mean no? You talking about the original?
Who am I
No.
thinking of?
Well, that's Stanley and John Buscema mostly.
Did he do a Silver Surfer?
Well, he did all the Infinity War stuff and the
Oh, maybe
Thanos
that's what
stuff
I
with
think I'm thinking of
Thanos.
that. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Then
Thanos
no,
stuff.
yeah, I don't even know if I own anything
Yeah,
then.
and that's a question I got for some the chat could answer. Did, before you saw any of these movies, did you say Thanos or Thanos? Because like an idiot, I've been saying Thanos for 40 years, and then all of a sudden I figure out I got it
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. I was saying the same
Yeah.
thing because I heard it from you.
You heard me saying Thanos. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
mean, I guess when
I'm
you look
glad
at
I
the
found
name,
out that. Sorry.
I was gonna
Uh,
say when you look at the name, it makes sense. It's Than Os. That makes
right.
sense.
So why did I say
I
Thanos?
don't know.
I thought it sounded better. Maybe I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
But I'm glad I did find out that I'm correct on Namor
Hmm.
because, like I said, I told you this before the chat. Omar says it wrong, and so does Jess. It's not Namor.
Calling them out.
it's,
Calling them out
it's
before you even got 100 subscribers. Calling
there we
out the
go.
big wigs.
Yeah,
There he
starting
goes.
right away. Yeah, it's Namor. And how I found out I'm for sure right, and I kept the link too in case I ever need to prove it. I got Stan Lee on audio saying Namor.
There you go. So you could bring that out.
Yes.
Just to say slot silver server. No, I was talking about the original, but I was just wrong on the
Yeah.
person. By the way, that's getting reprinted, and I'm so excited because I do. That's one that you have that I regret not getting, and I know I'm
Yeah.
gonna love.
Well, you got me that.
Know I'm gonna love.
Might have been for a birthday.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say I think I bought it for you
yeah.
even, and I'm
And
like,
and it
why didn't I get two?
mine's not perfect. There was a couple pages that were stuck together in the printing,
Oh,
and I
oh
had to
weird.
take
Okay.
scissors and cut it apart.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. I mean it. I still read it. It's fine.
And it
And
worked.
I really loved it. It's great work. I
Oh,
mean,
Steven.
he did borrow a lot from Doctor Who though in that run.
That's what I keep hearing, but that's why I know I'm
Yeah.
gonna like it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Steven, thank you for being here. Miss you, Steven. I'm devastated I don't have that sweatshirt. I assume you mean this one. I got it at Target, so you can probably still get it at Target.
It's very cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, speaking of stuff that you love that I need to read, I did pick this up from the shelf because I'm like, it's been sitting there. It's probably the thing I remember you talking about the most as a kid as far as comics goes. And of course, that is this Wolverine run, right?
Yeah.
Which you love.
Yes. Well, that has more than one run in it, but it includes the Frank Miller Claremont miniseries,
right?
Which is just
I think that's the one in particular
incredibly
that,
awesome.
even just this cover, like
yeah.
I remember this so much from as a kid.
Yeah.
You always had it on a wall. I feel like
Yeah, I've had it. I've had shirts and posters and things.
Mm-hmm. So I should open this up and read it. So I plan to.
Yeah, you should. Okay. Yeah, I got one more. Then when I finally get through all those, I'm going to start on this Bronze Age Swamp Thing, which I've read some of this material, when I was probably 10 or something. But you didn't usually find, even back then, the Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing stuff was usually you didn't get it in a 10-cent box. It was a back issue, and even then. So, and see here, I'm a little torn on this. Maybe you can help me decide, Kristen, or the chat for that matter. Should I get rid of this and buy the Absolutes that they just announced that's going to have this same material?
Are there two Absolutes?
Well, not yet. So yeah, they might screw me. Should I get the first Absolute anyway, and then?
Well, there's no way it's going to be one Absolute, right? Because that's chonkier. Like that's a chonky thing, right there.
Yeah, I'm thinking two.
Yeah, two makes more sense.
See, I have the Alan Moore Absolutes.
It could be three,
and I'm going to read it in order. So I'm going to read this first.
Yeah.
So I could get that Absolute and read that in there, and then come in here to fill in the middle. I know it's so stupid to think about that in.
One thing. So wait, is that, or is everything contained in that also?
What this is before Alan Moore. This is before Alan.
I'm talking about the Absolutes they announced. So it is that whole thing will be in Absolutes now. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you never know with DC. They've only
that's what I was going to say.
The first one.
And there could be 2 or 3, because there could be 3. Yeah, I think they've broken out an Omni that size into 3.
Maybe before. 2 or 3.
Yeah. So yeah, you could just end up getting. So if you got the Absolute, would you keep the Omni just in case they don't release the rest?
I would have to.
You would have to. Right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy.
I mean, Marcelo's saying he's keeping the Omnibus.
But is he going to also get the Absolute, or are you just going to stay with only the Omnibus?
It sounds like he's not like you and going to get multiple things at once.
Well, I really love the galleries and the Absolutes because they're showing you the art at the size they were actually drawn. Because most comics, I think, were drawn on 11 by 17 Bristol board or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, something like that.
So you're getting just about almost pixel for pixel the same size, So I just love it.
Jazz is saying wait until the Absolutes release. DC is too risky. I'm guessing it'll be 2 since they released thick Absolutes lately, like Fourth World. Yeah. That's a great point.
And I do have those 2 Fourth Worlds, but they're further down my to-read list, but I have them. Yeah.
I think that's probably the way to go because especially, wouldn't those Absolutes be nice next to your Swamp Thing Absolutes you already have?
They would.
That's really a big thing, right? You're like, ooh, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I like that, but when they vary the little spine stuff, it doesn't make me lose my mind like it does you, and I know a lot of other people feel that way, but
I don't lose my mind about it. I just think it's
sometimes you get pretty mad.
I think it's ridiculous.
It shouldn't happen.
Y'all got an art director. You're paying somebody for this, right? Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
It shouldn't really be that hard,
It really shouldn't. Marcellus is only Omnibus. Okay. Hayden wants to know how great the art is in that.
It's fabulous.
Well, you want to show some?
Yeah, let me see. It's not all Bernie Wrightson, but a lot of it is. Let me look at the credits here.
Oh yeah, Hayden's saying if it's amazing art, then get the Absolutes. If it's med, then no.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be amazing. Yeah.
You got John Tottleben, if you know who that is. Stephen Bissett is incredible. Nestor Redondo. I think he's one of the Filipino artists from the late 70s. There was a whole wave of them. In fact, I'll call out another channel for you, Kristen, but Comic Tropes did a whole, I think, 30 minutes on the Filipino invasion, I think is what kind of he calls it. But a lot of great artists were used in the late 70s. But anyway, let's see. And of course, you got Bernie Wrightson is the best part. Let me show you like this. There's some Bernie Wrightson. Beautiful. But none of it is bad. It's all great. Let me find another good one. There's a Nestor Redondo.
There you go.
He did
There's
great
bigger
stuff
for you.
too. Yeah. Did
Cool.
you guys hear that crack when I opened it? There was a little bit of a crack. That was
Blue
a scary
crack.
sound. It still looks good though, but man, that
Did
was scary.
you stretch your spines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first cut the plastic, I do.
Okay,
I
good.
probably need to do it then, and then right before I read, I should probably do it again, right? Probably need
I
to
don't
start doing
know.
that.
I only do it once, so maybe other people in the chat stretch them multiple times. I don't know. One good stretch is good for me. Steven says it's out of stock and done. I'm calling Mr. Target right now and announcing my displeasure. You should, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, which one is that he's talking about?
My sweatshirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jazz is getting the absolutes. I hope we keep getting Swamp Thing absolutes.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Yeah, I haven't actually got to watch it all yet, but he always does a good job. So, I've been looking at a lot of his stuff. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Swamp Thing, like Batman. Here's a hot take, Kristen.
Oh gosh, get ready, everyone.
They seem like they're Marvel characters. They seem way too cool to be part of the DC universe.
Oh,
I said it.
I said it. People are gonna unsubscribe to you.
I know I've done lost my all the ground
I've
gained in the last day is
you
gone.
You keep that inside. Don't leave it out. Nobody wants to hear that.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jazz has a hot stretch take. I stretch every time I read for my books and my neck and my back. It's a good idea, especially the ones you got to pick up. The big guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hello, hi there. The writing on the second part of that omnibus is a little iffy, so I'm good with the omnibus. Even though Bissett and how do you say that?
Tottleben.
Tottleben. I wanted to say that. I wasn't sure.
I think that's it.
Okay, art is great at the end of the Omni. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of the opposite of Kristen and a lot of you all in the chat. If the writing is terrible, if the art's great, I can put up with it. But the opposite, I have a hard time with. If the writing's great but the art is terrible, I can't hardly get through it.
Yeah, I am totally the opposite. Like, know, 'cause, I mean, it is about the story ultimately first for me, and then it's the art. That's why, like, even those Buffy books that weren't even that great story wise, like, I struggled through it because I was still interested in the characters. Right?
Yeah.
And the art was extra bad. So, I don't know. Hayden, I stretch the spines of every book I get as soon as I get them, even if I don't read them, even paperbacks. Well, that's smart, probably.
Yeah, it's probably the way to go.
They're spitting facts. Oh, Larry's Dark Side just came out disparaging comics about DC. Yep.
But you know what? On my channel, though, I'm not going to say too much negative. I mean, I want to say.
Oh, just here?
Yeah, just here. No, just here. Just when I'm live, I would say, because I want to spread the love of comic books. I mean, that's kind of what you said was your mission statement too, and it's the same for me. So
yeah, I think within that though, I mean, we all have like feelings about stuff that aren't necessarily.
Yeah, I think in many ways I'm sort of like the slightly younger Marvel version of Jess, because Jess is so DC centric. It's crazy. To me, it's crazy. But
well, that's why you're both my dads, and
you got a DC dad and a Marvel dad.
You know what? That's what it is. I'll tell him.
Yeah.
Tell him I figured it out.
That's funny.
Yeah, I love that. It's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got one last one.
I think I'm done with what I have here.
You're done. Okay. So speaking of big books, you guys stretch before you pick up. I remember reading these trades of yours way back in the day. I didn't finish it, but I did read some of them, and I eventually got uh, the big damn Sin
Yeah,
City, which is so big. Still haven't opened it. It's
it's
so hard to
beautiful.
hold. It is
See,
beautiful. That's
you've
fine.
read the material though, right? Or part of it?
I think I never finished it. And that's why I'm like, I want to revisit it in this big old format because I think I read maybe half of it. I don't even know if I got through half.
You could probably see mine from here. Let's see. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
you could. Probably.
you never upgraded, did you?
No, all I've got are
What's that about?
these four little, and they're not even full size trades.
Look
They're
at
like
little
shorter than
babies.
normal. Yeah, it's stupid.
What are you doing? Why don't you have
I mean,
this?
the trade dress on them is awesome. See how
Did
it
you
does
want to
that?
get this?
I should have got that. I don't know why I didn't get that.
I think it. Well, okay. The chat correct me because I know it's been reprinted like a few times. I don't know if it's back in print right now or not. So let me know if you know.
You got to highlight Hayden over here.
Oh, hold on. I got to put this down in order to do it.
Yeah.
It's too big. Oh, wait. How does Mr. Omni Cat Slayer Dad feel
Well, that
about
wasn't the one, but that's good too. No,
Oh,
I hate Superman. She
yeah,
got all of her hatred from Superman from me, just
that's right.
disparaging him over the years and calling out how ridiculous it is as a character. I mean,
Yes, I felt that in my soul growing up. I heard all
yeah,
of the bad words, but I believe them. I'm a grown up now, and I also feel the same,
yeah. Go
independently
down
of your
one.
ideas.
Go down one. There you go.
There's a comic idea for Reed. Omnicat has two dads.
Oh my god,
Love that.
that's
Love
good.
that. Rose Gray, hi, Comic Slayer's father. Been listening for a while, but my hands are trash at the moment. Okay, yeah.
Oh wow,
So happy to
that
be here for
sucks.
this big event. Hi, everyone. Yeah, that really sucks. Thank you for saying hi. Appreciate that. Thank you for watching. I think it's coming back soon. Okay, that's the
The
Big Damn Sin
Big
City.
Damn
So
Sin City. Yeah.
you gotta look
I,
out for
I
him.
feel like that needs to be two volumes though, right? Wouldn't it be better if that was cut in half?
I,
I
you
mean,
know,
I'll probably take it, but
I love how big it is, though. I mean, I know we
yeah,
were just saying
it's very
they're hard
suitable.
to deal with, but yeah, it's just and it looks so nice. That spine just looks so nice. The graphic on the spine, let me pick it up again. Is just and there's a ribbon, which I love.
Yeah, I do like ribbons too.
It's just a perfect kind of spine, isn't it? I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah. How
You
does
know?
it feel like it's a good binding? Well,
Well,
you don't know. You haven't
clearly I
opened
haven't
it yet.
opened it yet,
Yeah,
but
never
it
mind.
is nicely rounded, I'll tell you that.
It should be good. But that one that
I've
fell
heard it's
apart on
good.
me, I think it was Dark Horse. I mean, it wasn't an Omni. It was a standard hardcover, but
What's great? Wait, are these taller than an omnibus? Like a Marvel omnibus? Do we know?
ooh,
I
is
think
it
they
in
are.
between?
Oh yeah. No, it's bigger. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can pick these up together. We need to get some more muscles for this. Yeah, see, it's a little bigger,
Oh
a
wow.
little wider too.
So that's like a
It's a
deluxe
beast.
omnibus.
It's a
That's like
beast, and yeah,
an
it's
yeah.
like a library. It's probably a library edition size, but huge. Actually, I can tell you that for sure. Let me grab one. Um,
I think I want to do a 5-minute video where I line up all the various sizes together so someone can see them all and just say, because wouldn't that be nice to see that? Have that
yeah,
reference.
it's a library edition size, but
Wow.
huge.
So it's a library omnibus, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Marcelo says it's absolute size. Okay.
That helps you too. Yeah, it's enormous. And the cover's only $100, which I think is kind of an insane deal. It's just like Dark Horse's library editions,
That
which
is
are
a good
such
deal.
good deals.
Did you
So
see Marcelo's to no Superman, let me subscribe again so I can unsubscribe again. He's back and forth. He's holding it back, bringing it in, and
sorry, we're messing with you, Marcelo. If I hadn't bought the Big Dam, I probably would be buying the slipcases that are coming out. Those do look nice. They are
mm,
pricey though.
oh, so say maybe I
Well,
should get that, but maybe not.
I think the cover for Chris, maybe I think the cover for the slipcases, and there's going to be like 6, I think, are like $100 each.
Wow, that's a big investment.
It's a lot. I could be wrong on that. Let me
Of
know,
course, that's
Chris.
list,
But
so they'll probably be what, like $68 a piece,
yeah, but then the
70.
same exact price for the Big Dam.
Yeah, that's not a
versus
good,
times 6. Yeah, I
not a
mean,
bargain.
you know. Oh yeah, we said the absolute size.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
rough. But that's all my books. I think that's all your books, right?
Yep.
There goes
Now,
a cover $100. Yeah, that's hard.
so I know you said you don't have any plans for your channel, but you should. I mean, what?
Now you're gonna pressure me
Yeah, I'm
all
putting you
around.
on the spot. Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Now
guess
that
it's officially
have
back.
you have regular hours now, so you
I
can't blame it on
do.
your job. You know, you
I do. That's true. Well, okay. I'll try to come on here once a week. How about that? I will try to come on and do something.
Mhm.
You can hop on with me if you want. So maybe we can talk about that if we have any ideas for something. I would like if you're into it. To pick one of these things. Maybe the Wolverine, maybe something, some of the older Marvel stuff that I do have in Omni that just
Mhm.
sit there and I have no reason to like really read. But if you want to read it with me or at least discuss it, I know you
Or
because
say, could I do a skim and
yeah,
discuss?
you could do that, I guess. Yeah, because a lot of it's you've read. I know that's
Yeah,
hard.
I
Or
mean,
maybe like
if we could read together, but it'd probably be hard to coordinate that with my weird system I have, wouldn't it?
yeah, it would. See, that's where your system. See, if you had homework
Yeah,
reading, you would have to change it, which is
yeah.
what.
Well, I mean, I violated it here and there. You know,
Well,
it's
then
not a it's not in
you'll have to
stone.
consider that then.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll be up to you.
All right.
So yeah, we'll talk about that. But as far as anything else, if the chat has any questions before we go,
Okay.
let us know. Otherwise, see Hayden, start that book club here. You and Matt have been talking about for 2 years. I could do that. We keep talking about like a prose book club, like actually, because we read some prose every now and then. That's something that I would like to do. So I do want to do that. I did talk to Jess about this is top secret information that I'm letting out,
Okay.
but not really because I think I said it on air actually, so everyone heard it already. But Jess has never watched Buffy,
Oh yeah, yeah. I
and he
heard
wants
you
to
say
watch
that the other day.
Buffy. So I'm like, hopefully Jess will do that with me, and then I don't know what the schedule for that will be, but I would love to rewatch Buffy in general. I usually do it every few years or something, but then to do it with the Jess who's brand new and talk about every episode, I would love
Yeah.
to do
And
that.
see, I wouldn't mind guesting on there just so I could say stuff here and there. You know, on
Well, yeah, and yeah,
some of those maybe.
totally.
So
Come in, you would just have to rewatch the episode probably, and then like take notes, and then you can
yeah.
talk about stuff. Because I planned it to be like episode specific.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, not like a whole
That'll
season
take
or
a while. How
anything.
many episodes?
Yeah, a lot. I mean that first season's pretty short, so I think that one will be easy.
I thought you would have that
Um,
number. You don't have that number.
the total episodes, I don't. Well, because the first one was short, and then the other ones were like pretty consistent. I don't know. You
So
you wanted me to look it up?
I could look. I could look.
Okay, you look it up. It's a lot. It'll be a lot. I don't mind that though. You know. The thing is, I was like,
144.
okay, 144. But here's the deal. That's 144 videos of content. And
Yep.
some of those, it's like, I don't want to group episodes together or even seasons together because there were so many good standalone Buffy episodes and there's so much going on that, like,
James Abel had a question here. He says, "I think we both know the answer to that, don't we?"
Larry, which is better, Dark Horse or Boom Buffy? Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read the Boom Buffy, but just gleaning what I have from Kristen's videos, I'd have to say the Dark Horse by a mile
Yeah.
or 10 miles maybe.
Did you finish I don't think you even finished the Dark Horse stuff, though, did you?
Um,
You read like season 8.
I think I might have read season 9 also.
Okay. Well, you should finish that someday.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know how you'll do it. Maybe just by this
yeah.
fall,
And
this
James
spring.
Abel, it depends on what you mean too. Like, you talking about season 8 plus, or are you talking about the original Dark Horse? But I don't know. I might say that they're all better than the Boom. Yeah, would you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Probably.
been so long since I read the early Dark Horse stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, Boom's not great, and neither is that. So, you know, yeah, 254 total with Angel. That is a good point. I don't know if you'd want to do both, Jess.
Angel is such a different flavor show. You know, it's so much
It's so
darker and
different. Yeah.
yeah.
Even
I
just
mean,
like,
yeah, the tone is totally different. I think.
even just trying to like, I made Reed watch the first season of Angel, and it is so much. It's like, I love Angel, but it is harder to get through than Buffy.
Yep. It
Um,
it doesn't have the lighthearted kind of feel.
yeah, it's kind of rough. So like we even put it on pause. I think it's season 2, and I was eventually like, you know what? I'm gonna jump to season 5 because season 5 is my favorite season of Angel. There's so much stuff in that between that with Connor and blah blah blah, and I hate all of that. So
Yeah.
it's hard to get through some of it. But season 5
See,
is
you
still
influenced me on Connor like I did you on Superman. I just, you
it's,
know,
it's the worst.
yeah, Connor,
Well, then everything that happened with him and Cordelia, like that's nasty.
just
So,
creepy and weird and
not good.
unnecessary. Yeah,
Yeah. Which, and now we know that, behind the scenes, they really screwed over Cordelia. And
yeah.
that could have
So
been
it
just,
just colors the whole thing poorly now,
yeah,
doesn't it?
it really does. It's hard. It's you could maybe combine two partners and crossovers to an episode. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get there a little faster than than
Yeah.
one for one.
That is a good idea. Borrow Kristen's season comics to finish. Since she has triple dipped on each season, she has plenty to spare.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, I forgot. I didn't even notice. Marcelo. I never watched Buffy either. Marcelo.
Mm.
Okay, so if Jess and I do that show, you should watch along with us because it is such a fun ride.
Yeah, it's great. Even the bad ones are pretty good. There's really no
Yeah,
right.
even the ones that don't stick out in my mind as
It's
like
kind
a
of like
favorite
how I feel
episode.
about the
Still good.
original Twilight Zone. There's no
Mm,
bad Twilight Zones. I mean, you got some that are weaker than others, but yeah.
yeah, for sure. Well, before we end this, I gotta know. Well, they gotta know who's your favorite Buffy character. Do you have a favorite episode that you can remember?
Um, favorite Buffy character is probably Spike.
Of course.
Episode wise, I don't have all the names memorized like you do.
Well, you can tell me what happened if you
Is
remember
there one
an
called
event.
Whisper or something with those tall, Slender
Hmm.
Man looking dudes?
That's Hush. Yeah, where
Hush.
everybody lost
Yeah,
their voice. The Gentleman.
that was really good. The Gentleman. That's it.
Yeah, I love how you're like
Yeah.
Slenderman looking dudes. Hey, they predated Slenderman.
I know. I know. It's Slender. That's a total reverse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That and I like the musical a lot. You know.
of course.
hmm
So good. Okay, cool. Well, do you have anything else to talk about? You want to promote your channel again?
Well, Monday I got the Namor review, and it's my first Omni review, and it's kind of long, but I pack a lot of stuff in there. It's 26 minutes, but
It's a good length.
yeah, I talk about my favorite Namor outfit.
Love
So
that.
yeah, there's some of that
Fashion
there.
segment. Love it.
Yeah, there's even a Donald Trump reference.
Wow.
I probably that's a sneak preview because man, I did not expect that to be in there, but it is. I mean, it's in the Omni, and
Like
so
in
it's
the
in my
Omni.
review.
Okay, interesting. That is interesting.
Yes.
Please note it's not a pro Donald Trump reference.
No, it's
Anyone
not.
watching this, don't think
I
that we
mean,
feel that way.
I guess if you wanted to take it that way, you could, but that's not how I.
Hmm.
It's not how I'm
Well,
taking it.
I think that's a great tease because now I'm interested in what it said.
Okay. And then I'm gonna do I'm working on a little Elden Ring video. If anyone cares, I know everybody in the world has one, an Elden Ring video, but
It's
I'm
true.
actually playing it now or trying to play it, so
I am
I'll
personally
have to
interested
express
in.
my frustrations in a video.
Yeah, I'm interested in your thoughts because you're a big Skyrim guy.
Yeah,
So and Fallout, I guess, right?
yeah,
Hayden, you could probably do half a season per episode since the season arc seems to take a turn and ramp up around each season midpoint. That is a very good point.
yeah. You probably
I'll
could
have
do
to
that,
consider that. Yeah,
especially as long as you guys' episodes are. So you got
that's
room
true.
to. you,
That's true. We
you could
tend to go
probably
long.
cover several episodes.
Well, if we could get through the chat and do that at the same time, that is usually the issue.
Yeah, that's true.
But okay, well, cool. Check out my dad posts a video every Monday, right?
Yeah, and then I'm a few extras in the midweek sometimes. So
Yep. And I'll put up the banner or the ticker one more time. Subscribe to Larry's Library. The link
awesome.
is in the description, as well as if you want to help out with Buffy and Willow vet bills, you can get these great stickers redesigned. Read chancellor.storeenvy.com. Also, link into the description. And I'm sure my dad and I will be back at some point. And if
Yeah.
you watch this, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to know something about my dad or you're interested in a certain video of us doing this, let me know. And thank you to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you all for watching.
Yep. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the promo.
And thank you, Chris. Thanks for the show. Have a great day. Yep. See y'all
Bye.
later. Bye.